Imagine this. Two photographs land on a table. Two different faces stare back at you. The researcher asks which one you find more attractive. You study the eyes, compare the expressions, and point to the face on the left. The photographs disappear beneath the researcher's hand. A second later, one slides back across the table. You pick it up and explain your decision. Perhaps you mention the smell or the shape of the face. Your answer is immediate and confident. Then the truth is revealed. You are holding the wrong photograph. You choose the person on the left, but the researcher secretly gave you the person on the right. The switch happened directly in front of you. Nothing covered your eyes, and only a few seconds have passed. Somehow the rejected face has entered your hand and become your choice. Would you notice the difference? You probably imagine yourself looking at the photograph, recognizing the switch, and correcting the researcher. That response feels obvious, but the famous experiment produced a very different result. In 2005, researchers Peter Johansson, Lars Hall, Sverker Sjöström, and Andreas Olsson showed 120 participants 15 pairs of female faces. Each participant selected a face they found more attractive and explained the preference. Three trials contained a hidden manipulation. A second photograph was concealed behind one of the visible cards. As the researcher flipped the photographs face down, his arm briefly blocked the participant's view, allowing him to switch the selected photograph. The rejected photograph then slid across the table as if it were the participant's selection. Think of it like this. Your finger points left, the researcher's hand moves, and the face on the right suddenly becomes your decision. The participants immediately detected only about 13% of the switches. Even after the researchers questioned them later, total detection reached only about 26%. Most manipulated outcomes were accepted. Just when you feel certain that you could distinguish between two different faces, the experiment tells you otherwise. But the unnoticed exchange was only the first surprise. The explanations that followed revealed something even stranger. A participant would lift the switched photograph, examine it, and begin describing why the face was attractive. The explanation might focus on a particular expression or facial feature. It could sound detailed, personal, and completely sincere. The researchers compared the explanations of real choices with the explanations of manipulated choices. They found no substantial differences in certainty, specificity, or emotionality. An explanation for manipulated choice could sound almost identical to the one for the authentic choice. The participants were not deliberately lying. They appeared to believe that the photograph in their hands represented their original decision. As the outcome was accepted, the mind found reasons that made it feel reasonable. Imagine your mind as an interpreter arriving after the event. It sees a photograph in your hand and assumes that you must have selected it. Instead of replaying a perfect recording of the decision, it studies the present scene and builds a story that fits. This does not mean that every explanation is false. It means that confidence cannot guarantee accuracy. You can feel certain about the reason even when the reason did not produce the original choice. Now move the experiment out of the laboratory. Imagine two jars of jam on a supermarket counter. You taste both, choose your favorite, and then receive another spoonful. Without your knowledge, the samples have been switched. The flavor in your mouth is the one you rejected, but you begin explaining why you prefer it. Researchers performed this experiment with jam and tea. Many shoppers accepted the switched product and justified the new outcome. Similar manipulation have also been used with moral and political opinions. Picture a questionnaire in your hands. You mark that you disagree with a statement. Later, the wording or recorded answer is reversed, making it appear that you agreed. When asked to explain your position, you may begin constructing an argument for the opposite side. A face becomes a preference. A text becomes a favorite. An altered answer becomes an opinion. The change enters first and the explanation follows. Choice blindness does not mean that every belief can be replaced. Many people detect manipulations, especially when they have time to examine what happened. The effect also changes across situations. The important lesson is that we do not always possess direct access to the origins of our choices. Consider how this might appear in ordinary life. You buy something and later develop reasons for needing it. You follow a group's decision until its position begins to feel like your own. You remain on a particular path and gradually interpret your continued presence as proof that you choose it. The experiments do not prove that every justification you made works this way. They give us a reason to inspect the stories that appear after an outcome has already been accepted. Think of your identity as an image assembled from many small pieces. One piece represents what you prefer, another represents what you believe. Each explanation adds something to the picture. If one piece is secretly replaced and the new version is accepted, the larger image begins to change. The manipulation leaves no visible scar. No editing mark appears around the new memory. The replacement simply settles into the story and begins to feel familiar. It is almost like a version of yourself stepping out of a dream and entering reality. It carries a slightly altered story, takes your place, and continues living as if nothing happened. The replacement does not need to transform everything at once. It only needs to change one explanation, then allow that explanation to influence the next decision. The images held in the mind can influence attention and action, like a glitch in the matrix or the symbolic spinning top in Inception. One small image can change how a person interprets reality. But an image is not automatically true simply because it feels meaningful. The influence does not always have to work against you. You can picture the person you want to become, but positive imagination alone cannot guarantee progress. The image becomes useful when you recognize the obstacles ahead and choose a concrete action that moves you closer to your goal. Believe in your ability to change, but continue examining the explanations guiding you. Ask whether your actions reflect what you genuinely value or merely support an outcome you have already accepted.